We have 10 people. I'm very sure that before the first speaker start properly or before they get in between their presentation, you're definitely going to see more crowd. Okay, so I hope you keep sharing, you keep telling your friends, put it on your status, let them know that it's a 1 week journey. So they should not miss tonight and tomorrow, which is like the finale. Okay, so they should try as much as possible to join in. Very important. And today is going to be an amazing session. In fact, it has already started amazingly. Why? Because we have started right. Okay, we have started by warming ourselves up. We have started by warming ourselves up, and it's just part of what we do. And I'm always saying that testify, yes, as per testing, that is why it is testify. But of course, there is a Christian part of it, because so far so good, we have been testifying to the glory of God. Hallelujah, somebody. So don't mind me. So definitely these are, aside from your studying, I'm just always advising that even aside from your studying, aside from you applying for those jobs, one factor that you cannot miss out is you not, praying to God and having faith. Either you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, right? You cannot forfeit that part. You always have to put in that part. You can't drop it, because that's the crown of all the efforts. All right. So today we are going to be having an amazing session. My very own people. In fact, I know well a lot of you have been presenting all this while. It's not partiality that I've not been available. I'm just available today, since yesterday, today, and of course I'll be available tomorrow, which is the grand finale. So we're going to be having two alumni speakers today. We have been having speakers from each cohort 1, cohort 2, cohort 3, cohort 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to be having to 8, even to tomorrow. So it promises to be amazing. You will definitely have seen somebody from your cohort presenting, definitely. So it's just a way for us to pick it randomly by each level. And I'm just always so proud, because when I look at the data for each cohort, I tend to see quite a volume of people who are now working as a tester, who do not even have an experience, or in IT before now. And seeing them doing this, that's always my own highest, my own most interesting moment when I see, people working. So yeah, today is an amazing journey. Today is an amazing day, because as much as you're already working as a tester, as much as you're already an expert in it, there is always room to learn. There is always, for a very long time, yes, I used to do API testing. I used to do API automation. In fact, it's my biggest strength. But before it become my biggest focus, right, in the testing world, I prefer API testing and database testing than front end or mobile. I just prefer it, probably because I've done a little back end before, so it just sort of resonates with me. But before then, I've actually learned a lot of, resources, studied a lot of resources, do some academies on YouTube and stuff. But one thing that is good, and that's what I'm always saying, that don't ever think that there is nothing you can give. There is always something you can give that is beneficial, because the way you interpret it can just be the best way somebody else needs it to understand it. So I have been doing a testing for a while, for 3 years, and until I went for a presentation one day before I actually realized how to test API better. Not because I've not been seeing expert, but a beginner person just talks about it, and it just makes a whole perfect sense to me. So again, you might already be a tester, you might already be working. So don't look down on anybody presenting, because trust me, there will definitely be one line or one paragraph that they will talk about that will really make a whole sense to you. So learning never stops. All right, so I'll be calling on the first speaker, which is Maureen. So, and I'm thankful that I really want to, introduce them to you all today. So Maureen is in fact, I can read Maureen's profile without reading. She's an enthusiastic and highly motivated individual who has clear understanding of the role and responsibility associated with being a software engineer and as a tester. She's passionate about her work, a fast learner, and loves new things. One other thing that she did not put here is that she knows how to manage teams, she knows how to manage people, I remember when she was in our own cohort, the way she was able to organize people, the way she was able to call and coordinate things. Even when I used to match on some people, I know people that I match on, you know, she still had a way of, you know, lifting their spirit up. And that is very good. It's a great strength that not all of us have it. We are all work in progress, right? So she has that part. I'm just trying to read out the one I know about her that she did not put down. So today she's going to be presenting to us the importance of software testing in Sdlc. We all know, or okay, for those that do not know, Sdlc simply means software development lifecycle. So in the old software development lifecycle, you know, we have the requirement gathering, the planning, you know, the execution, designing, the execution, the testing, the deployment, and all. So she's going to be telling us why software testing is even important in this stage of Sdlc. All right, so I'm happy to have you here, Maureen. So you can unmute yourself and you have the floor for the next 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I wouldn't mind if you can put on your camera.
We are in Nigeria.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I am. It's a bit dark, like kind of. So I'm sorry about that.
All right, so you can just share your screen then.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, you can see. So you can put your slide on the play mode so that it can be full screen. So go to another slideshow. Yeah, click on the play from start.
Okay, so before I start, good evening, everyone. I want to thank Testify for this opportunity given to me. Like I told her the day I got my transfer letter, I told her it was just like she prophesied this into being. Yeah, and also I want to thank my friend Precious, who introduced me to Test Code Camp 5.0. My whole aim was to go in there and just do my best and come out of it. Like, he kept on encouraging me, Testify kept on encouraging me that I should focus towards being a software tester at the end of this program. So I want to say a big thank you to you for all you have done in my life. Today, that dream has come true. So I'm grateful, man. All right, so today I'll be introducing myself. My name is Maureen Befa. I'm a graduate of software engineering from University of East London. I used to be a credit risk analyst with Carbon, and after the Test Code Camp 5.0, I gained the required knowledge, and currently I'm working as a software QA/support engineer at Carbon. So today I'll be talking about the importance of software testing in Sdlc. So that's my topic. Here is my outline. The first one says, what is software testing? Most of us know what software testing is already. Most of us are not familiar with it. The next one says Sdlc, the role of testing in Sdlc, the major importance of testing in Sdlc, and my conclusion. So I'm starting with the definition of testing, like why testing? So testing is an important and valuable phase in the software development lifecycle, and it varies the way each organization goes about it. Software testing is a method to check if the software being produced actually meets the requirements that it's supposed, like the way it's supposed to function, if it actually meets that requirement. Yeah, and software testing is important because if there are bugs or errors in the software, it can be identified early. It can be solved before the delivery of the actual product. So what is SDLC? Like Ibrahim said, SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle, and it is the process of developing information system with proper analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. So that's the basic thing you need to know about SDLC. I'll move to the role of testing in SDLC. The first phase is the inception phase, and in this phase, the test engineer understands the project, what is needed, like the requirements that are needed, what is to be implemented. They try to get a full understanding of the project at hand. Then the next phase is the elaboration phase, and in this phase, the tester tries to understand the project being developed and gather the required requirements. Like she said earlier, the SDLC has various sections. The first one is requirement gathering, where you gather the requirements. What are the things that needs to be implemented in the project? So the next phase is the construction phase. So in this phase, the developers play an important role and help developing designs of the software. So here they work together with the softwares to actually design the designs for the software. Then the testers also come in here. They try to know more about the requirements and they trace it back to the test cases. So system testing is carried out here, and also integration testing is necessary in this phase. Then the next phase is the transition phase. So in this phase, if any bugs are found, they are retested. So that is like the regression comes back again. You retest and test and retest until the bugs are found, and you make sure you get rid of them before the full product is ready. Yeah, so sorry about that. Okay, so that's about this phase. So the next is the major importance of testing. From my knowledge of being a software tester at Carbon, I've got the opportunity to learn new things, like learning new softwares, new tools. I had to learn how to use a Mac system for the first time. I've been used to HP, and that did not stop me from carrying out my job. So the major importance of testing is to identify bugs and to identify them early. Yeah, that's the major importance of the first one, is to identify bugs and to identify them early. The next phase, the next importance is to keep away any hazards. Like when testing is not done properly, like we can take example for the in-era app that went viral. Like, I'm not sure the developers even had time to test that software before releasing it. And they didn't employ the right people to test it. Like, there are people that there should be regression testing done at least to be sure that this thing is working fine before putting it out there for the public to use it. So yeah, it keeps away hazard. Like when you develop any software, testing plays an important part. When you give your software without any testing, then it may be hazardous to the users. Another example can be like, let's say, a software that has to do with like the hospital system. If such a software is being released without proper testing, like many lives will be lost in the process. Imagine a software that's supposed to be like a life support system for someone and it malfunctions, the person might die. Yeah, so the third point is improvement in product quality. Testing helps to improve the quality of the product to ensure that there are no issues attached to it, and it will help to also save money for that company. Then the fourth point is early detection of bugs, which can prevent monetary and human loss, like I said earlier. Then the next point is to get ahead of any competitive developers. There are so many companies out there. There are competitions everywhere, but if your software products stand out, sure, you make you some of money out of it, and you'll be like, you stand out amongst every other companies out there. So my presentation is a bit short. This is my first time of doing this. So I hope you try to understand with me. So in conclusion, software testing is a very large undertaking. Like, it's very important to have effective process in place prior to embarking on any major development effort. And this is essential to the success of the overall effort and delivering of quality software to end users. So this is all about my presentation, but I'll move back to talking about my journey throughout the Testify Textbook and 5.0. When I joined that program, I was like naive. Even though I had an IT background, I wasn't confident of myself. Like I wasn't really sure I was able to do anything. But getting into that program, I was taught how to learn new things. I was taught how to relate with people. I was taught how to do so many things I've not done before. And right now, as I'm working as a software tester at Carbon, I'm being able to implement all those things I've learned. I'm still learning. Like I said, I'm still learning. It's a learning process. The process never ends. You keep learning and unlearning. So I just want to say to someone out there, you might be thinking, oh, you're not good enough. You don't have an IT background. How will you go about it? You have the right people at hand. You have Testify. You have like the speakers that spoke yesterday and some days back. They were like, put yourself out there, sell yourself. You have learned something. Just believe in yourself, like you can do more and have the right circle. Like for my case now, My teammates has been awesome. Even after the testing program, we still keep in touch. Like when we have issues to sort out, we get ourselves busy and we still carry out all those stuff. And also one thing I didn't tell Testify was that immediately after the program, I got 2 job offers, but I wasn't sure I was ready. Like I wasn't sure I was really ready to go out there and get this done. So I didn't tell her about that part because I know she would have pushed me into it and get me started right away. But I still thank God that today I'm still a software tester. So that will be all from me. Thank you so much. Hello.
Wow, are we clapping? I mean, we just come and listen and go. Maybe we should clap now. You know that I will not move you, but I don't say clap. Anyways, I'll be here. Yeah, thank you so much. For that. Yeah, thank you so much for that short, precise, and accurate presentation. And of course, I know that when you are presenting for the very first time, a lot like this is expected. But I'm sure that by the time you start presenting, by the time I start bringing you to present 2-3 times, you adjust. And I did not know that you got 2 jobs. I said you were not ready. If I had known that one, you would have started watching one. would have had our one-on-one. But anyways, I'm happy about your journey so far, and thanks for the for the presentation. It's renewing, right? To let everybody know that, oh, what I know before, is it actually the same thing as what she's saying? Are there things I did not know before that she mentioned? Or are there even things that she mentioned I think is not accurate? There is room for comment, there's room for question, there's room for answers. We are only here to work together and help each other grow, right? So do we have any question? Anybody with any question for her? Anybody? But if there is none, or if there is, you can use the comment section to drop your question or comment, okay? And to everyone that said thank you as well. For those of you that are on this call that did not say thank you, and you're in the test local community, you know that I'm coming for you because you'll be presenting one day very soon. Very, very, very soon. All right. Okay, she said, okay, so I would, okay, so maybe Maureen can just quickly answer this question. 2 questions. One said, Maureen, why did you think you were not ready? So I think you already answered that, but you can just reiterate. And the second question is, can she tell me how she uses Sdlc in her current role? So you might want to go ahead to answer that.
All right, thank you so much for that. So yeah, I had this issue of believing in myself. Like I always needed a push before I can do something. That has been like a challenge. But after the test program 5.0, I was able to come out of that fear. And now I think I'm stronger and better. Yeah, so for the second question, I hope I answered that correctly. So for the second question, how I use Sdlc in my current role. Well, my current role is basically about we run an agile system. So we tend to gather the right requirements based on the acceptance criteria that have been placed. I don't really do much of, I only go into testing for now, since I'm a baby tester. But I think as I go on, I will learn more and get to do more implementation of Sdlc in my current role. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. What to do when developer is claiming busy with other dev work for not fixing bug? I think I want to answer that question, so I will need to pause it for a while.
Okay,
then after
please do.
Then after the second guest speaker has finished, alumni speaker is done speaking, I will answer all the questions, right? And I'll also add comments to the question that she has already answered as well. So in case you have questions, feel free to drop them. I'll ask them, and anyone I feel like should answer, I'll also answer as well. All right, so Victoria, take those, or I'll answer your question later. All right, so let's quickly bring on the second speaker, our very own Bright Kwame. So with years of experience in QA and testing, Kwame is impacting the lives of average Ghanaians by working on projects that deliver exceptional value to them. As a person, his philosophy is there is more to learn, more problems to solve, and yet more people to help. This is what piques his curiosity to learn more in the ever-changing technological world. He's going to be presenting to us exploratory testing. But again, another thing he did not have here is that he was a tester before he joined Test Code Camp. And he has been a tester for like 5 years before he came into the Test Code Camp program. He came basically because he wanted to learn automation. And I was super proud to see that he was able to do that. And he presented what he did out there. Some of you have been able to do a lot of, and tonight, the funniest thing is that the same project he used for his project is now, that current company is now looking for a tester. So he has already done the job before they started looking for him, So another thing I learned from him is even when you're not so sure, be ready to put your work out there and be open to criticism. He was able to put what he has done out there. During his interview, he recorded his session and he posted it on, I think I also recorded the session. I also posted it on social media. And people gave comments. People now see what he can do. Remember what that man told us yesterday about personal branding. As much as he has been into testing, he was able to identify that this is my knowledge gap. And he was ready to push for it, despite being in it for like 5 years, right? He was still ready to push for it, even learn from the start again, even when he was already a tester. So again, learning never ends, right? So yeah, today is going to be talking to us about exploratory testing, and the funny thing is that topic looks very, very simple and common, but it's quite a whole lot. Exploration is a whole lot. But yeah, let's hear from him today and let him give us details about it. So over to you, Bright. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks once again, Ibrahim, for the invite. And like you said, yeah, I've been a tester for some time now, but the journey has been up and down, and it takes a lot to actually know the gaps or your knowledge gaps and then try to fill it out. And I was in a situation where I had to get out of it. So a little bit about my story before we go into the presentation. So if some of you were on the call yesterday, you would have noticed I said that I'd done several odd jobs around sales and marketing before actually stumbling into software testing. And that's a story most of us can relate to, because majority of the speakers who have been to software testing, they'll tell you that they actually stumbled into it. It wasn't a conscious effort, but then after stumbling into software testing, then you have to make conscious efforts to improve. Okay, you have to make conscious efforts to improve. So basically, for 5 years, I was testing, but after 2 years, I'd actually learned whatever I had to learn in the role, and the rest of the years that I had, it wasn't adding any value to me. So it came to a point I had to make a decision. Either I stay where I am in my comfort zone, or then I move out. So that brings me to my first point, actually. You have to make a decision at every point in time of your life. When you do your assessment, am I where I want to be or not? You have to make a firm decision that, okay, do I stay here or do I move out of this place? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is you have to put in a lot of effort. Learning technologies might seem easy, but it's not. It's really not that easy. But so you have to put in the work. Sometimes you have to be up at dawn, trying to figure some things out. There were times I couldn't sleep just because I had code to write, and then it wasn't working, so I just couldn't sleep. So the next morning I'll just get back on it. I had an idea, I'll just implement it, see how it goes. So basically that's just it. You have to put in the effort, and you have to be disciplined too as well. It's quite easy for you to lose the motivation when things are not going too well for you too as well, especially when it comes to doing the coding aspects too as well. I don't like coding. But then when it comes to some functionality, yes, I can write it. And then the third thing is to network with the right people. So like we heard from David yesterday, you have to seek attention. You have to seek a lot of attention. Even if you don't know something, let people know your journey, see your journey, where you are progressing from. You started from the base and then you are going upward. So I had to do something similar on LinkedIn. I hadn't used LinkedIn in like a long time. I didn't know how to use LinkedIn, but then when I joined Tesco coming, I was passing out. I actually tried it out. I put some of the things I've done, some of the automation tests that I've run, I put it there, and I received a lot of encouraging comments for people who are also learning, and then people who are already in the field too as well. And it would shock you the number of opportunities that came from those posts too as well. They were recruited from all over the world, reaching out to me, some coming from Gibraltar, some coming from Malta, some coming from Ireland, some coming from Spain. Yes, so putting yourself out there really would let people see who you are, what you can do, and then they might present you with opportunities too as well. And then you also have to join communities. Yes, so you have to get a group of people around you to help you move forward, like-minded people, not any community, but a community of testers. If you want to become a tester, you have to get a community of testers who can move you forward. And when you have an issue, they can help you resolve. And then on top of that, you have an inner circle, and this was also mentioned. Yeah, so maybe 3 or 4 people who can go into the crash with you. So I have a group like that of 2 people who, if anything at all I have, if it's an opportunity, we discuss. If it's work related, we discuss and try to come up with solutions. So those people will provide you support in going forward with your work. So basically that has been my journey, and I didn't say where I'm working now, so I'll just mention it briefly. I work with M-Pesa Africa as a software tester, and I'm helping build the largest fintech company in Africa as of now. M-Pesa is currently part of Vodafone, but we are moving from that direction to a standalone company. So yeah, I work with them now. Okay, so now we move to my presentation, which is exploratory testing. Let me see, yes. Yeah. So optimizing value of testing continuously. And then we'll look at what exploratory testing is and what is optimizing the value of testing, and activities in exploratory testing, and then the facets of exploratory testing. So like Ibiranke said earlier, exploratory testing on the surface might look quite easy, but it goes further than probably what we might know. So this will just be an intro to exploratory testing. If you want to know more, I'll share a link where you can actually go and learn more about it too as well. So basically, when we say exploratory testing, it's an approach to testing that centers learning. When we say centers learning, it means the tester has to learn. Okay, it's all a process of learning. Going into the testing phase, you have to come out as a better tester. Okay, so you might go in not knowing much, but coming out of it, you have to know a lot about the domain you tested for. So in your test design and test execution, they are inseparable. So basically, when you are going through the app, when you are executing your tests, then the design also will be coming into your head. You can be taking notes as well. So testing, there's the inputs, and testing knowledge, and then the output, as always, will be a better tester and then delivering value to the customer, because as testers, we represent the customer in the organization that we are working. We are the representatives of the customer. So anything we do has to provide value to the customer at the end of the day. So how do we optimize the value of testing? So like we see in the diagram there, we have our test designs, which is ideas, and then we have our test execution, which is information, and then we have learning. So it's actually a cycle. Okay, you have an idea, you execute, it gives you an information. Okay, this is working as it's supposed to. It's not working as it's supposed to. You put down your documentation. Then it might give you another idea. You go through it. So going through this cycle several times will let you know how the app actually works. And it will also let you give information that is necessary to your stakeholders as well. Okay, so basically that's how we optimize the value of our testing. But then when we are learning, there are a couple of ways we can learn going into the test as well, and then coming out of it too. So the first way we can learn is by researching the domain. So let's say you have a fintech app to test. Maybe you are not from the fintech side. So what do? You might learn a bit about how they operate their, how they go about security and all those things. That will inform how you go about your tests. And then after the test, what do? You pass on information from those who worked on the problem before you, and also what you've done, you can also put it in writing, and then you can pass it on. Maybe later on, you'll not be working on the same app, someone else will be doing. So they will also know what has been done so far and what they can also do. And also the third way will be by using the application and thinking while using it. So you just don't execute test cases, but you also think. You use your critical knowledge, and then you imagine things out of what you are doing. So you don't execute test cases, but then you explore too as well. You think wide whilst executing your tests. The fourth point is by critically evaluating the application as you use it. So you have to be very strict on whatever you're doing based on your test, your input and your output. You have to be critically evaluating every single thing. And by focusing our attention on what, how the app could work or how it could fail to as well. That's another way of learning, and then reflecting on new information against what you do from the past. So I use my example with the fintech app previously. Maybe going into the test, you didn't have a lot of information, but coming or during the middle of the test, you might have some new information, and then we can just oppose it with the past information we had and see how much we've progressed so far. And lastly, by experimenting with approaches outside our usual repertoire. So as testers, we usually have ways we test, and sometimes we are quite set in those ways. But then it's up to us if we want to learn more. Sometimes you move out of those normal ways we used to test and then move into a different way of testing to bring probably different results. So what am I saying? Probably most often we do the happy path testing. We test only the correct inputs, but maybe another time you might not test the happy path. You might go a bit away from that, and then it might generate a bug for you, or it might lead to an unpleasant UI experience, which you can report as a bug too as well. So that's breaking away from your normal repertoire. Okay, so now we come to our activities in exploratory testing. So in exploratory testing, anything can happen. So your quality of the output depends a lot on the quality of the input and the time used in the process to learn and improve too as well. Okay, so some of the activities we do are testing. Okay, so we use time to test, and then we go through new ideas of what to try and observe. So without time on test, our coverage will not go. So we have to do as much coverage as possible. The fact is we can't test everything, but we have to test as much as possible given the time we have. And then the next thing is bug. So we work on understanding information you're discovering and refining it to better serve others as you pass it on. So any bug you find, you document it, whether be it on Jira or in your Excel sheets, so that you can pass it on to someone else, be it the developer or the stakeholder, the business stakeholder, then they know whatever is going on. And the third activity is setup. Okay, so we set up to make our work possible. So you might be setting up test data, operating the application to get to a starting point, researching while collecting information, with the target of testing or solving issues on getting to test. So setup also is really important, especially when it comes to writing automated tests. You have to make sure when you are doing the UI and you're using Selenium, you have to make sure your Maven is working. You have to make sure your Java code is up to scratch. You have to make sure your IntelliJ is also working perfectly. All the dependencies have been imported and everything is working as it should. Otherwise, it will be giving you a tough time. So that's another thing we spend our time on during the test phase. And then documentation, which is quite important to as well. You have to make sure you leave notes and materials for your future self and anyone coming after you so that they can track the activity and everything that goes on. And when it comes to automation too, that's quite important. So these are some of the activities that goes on during our exploration test too. And then the facets of exploratory testing. So like I said earlier, we have our input and our test execution, which is doing the testing, and then the output. So our inputs are the tester and the domain knowledge they already have, and the requirements and specifications which will be provided beforehand so that they can test, and then the testing knowledge and any other knowledge at all. So like me, I bring a sales or a customer-centric view to my testing. So that's my miscellaneous knowledge. I look at things as a user would look at it. What value is it providing to the user? Does it make their usage of the app good or not? So that's how I come in. That's the miscellaneous knowledge I bring on board. So the output is to be a better tester, and then information including defects and change requests should be logged. And documentation could also contain your strategy, and then the test you also run. So these are all some of the things that should be outputted at the end of exploratory testing. So this is just a brief overview of exploratory testing. And then if we want to go more deeply into that, we can reach out or I'll share the link, and then we can read more on that and apply it in our normal jobs too as well. So which brings me to the point again that yes, most of us, oh shit, okay. Oh. Okay, yeah. So the difference between a normal user now and we, the testers, is that we are able to document whatever we are doing and then provide feedback, but a normal user wouldn't do that because it might be too much problem. So if you are here, you're already a tester, it's not that too difficult to get into it. I encourage you to take it up and then try and join a bootcamp like Test Code Camp. It will help you, it will help ground you, and then in the minimum or least amount of time, you can be given the required skills to start searching for jobs and getting them too as well. So thanks once again to everyone for coming to listen to my presentation, and I hope to catch you on another one.
Wow, guys, are you thanking him? Sorry, I was muted and I thought I was talking. Wow, that was quite so. So we just came with fire today. Wait, so we have at least 21 people on this call, and I'm barely seeing up to 5 thank you. I can see from Michael, I can see from Maureen, Helen, Ione, Kende.
Thank you.
Who else again? Muiwa. Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful session, Pame. That was. Are you sure that me? I will not go and start. I thought I want to go and start this career all over again. Okay. That was quite a very wonderful session. Like I'm saying, it's so much refreshing to hear all these things over and over again. It just, gives me a sense of understanding, right? Give me a sense of just refresh my mind on whatever I know about what I do. So I believe that it also gives you guys also a refreshing mind. If you don't know about it before, now you know about it. And I believe you always re-listen to the session. All the sessions we are doing, we are recording it, and they are all on our YouTube channels, which at the end of every meeting, we share the link. However, I'm compiling them to a playlist, and then I will send you guys the link of the playlist so you can go and watch everything from day one to today. So thank you so much to our guest speakers. If you have any question, please, this is the time you need to drop them, comment, and we are gradually wrapping up for today. So somebody asked a question earlier from Maureen, and the question was, why did you think you were not ready? Which she answered. But the truth is that, I mean, from my years of dealing with people who are just coming into the tech world, 3 months for since about 2 years now, right? One short thing is that because you are studying and you are not implementing, it's very, very likable that you don't know that you know some things. It's very possible. There is that feeling of you have a scattered knowledge because you have not actually implemented what you learned. In fact, if care is not taken, you will not know that you know a lot of things until when you get to your place of work. And that is why I always advise that when you finish the program, continuous learning, right? As a software tester, as a software developer, engineer generally, they are just blessed because with or without a professional experience, you can have an experience, right? You can always get to use any application to learn, you know, volunteer to your friends that are developers, just test application, just gather experience, you know? So that is a way for you to, so, I mean, not having that professional experience can be one of the reasons why she thinks that she was not ready, not implementing what she knows. I hope that actually portrays it. And the second question was, how does she use Sdlc in her current role? Her current role is Sdlc on her own, right? The fact that she tests, one of the things that she has to do as a tester is to ensure that she's part of the requirements gathering discussion, right? When they are planning, sprint planning, or the planning they're having in their team, she should be part of it so that she can understand and make contributions. When they are done designing, she needs to go through the design, see if there's any comments, you know, give comments to the designer. We even, you know, we test designs as well, not just functionalities. So you look at the design, oh, the colors are not matching, stuff like that, give comment. And aside from that, she also tests, right? She tests the application, then she creates a bug report when there is a bug. She do a reconfirmation test. When she's done with that, she do a regression. When it's fine, she creates a test summary report, and she gives a go ahead to deploy. When they are done deploying, she then goes ahead to do a post-deployment check. That is our work in the Sdlc flow. That is our software testing lifecycle. And that is where our testing comes into play in the entire flow for the team. So she's that person that works with the entire team from beginning to the end, okay? So basically, I hope I actually added to that answer that Bamidele also asked. So Victoria asked that, what do you do when developer is claiming busy with other dev work for not fixing bugs? The truth is that one of the golden things you need to do is to build the mindset for the team, because the truth is, except for international companies that I've seen, when I say international companies, not company that is outside Nigeria. International companies means that companies that have been in existence for years and have been implementing this flow of Agile. One of the things I've learned from them is the fact that they build their team culture. Everybody in your team needs to have the same mindset with you. They need to be able to understand that it is our collective effort. It is our bug. It is not just a developer bug. It's not just a tester bug. It's not just a tester trying to stress you. It is a collective thing that we need to solve. And I'm always saying it over and over again that one of the best ways for you to know a senior developer is that developer that tells you that, Victoria, take this app, give me all the bug inside it, I want to fix it. But if someone that is not a senior or an intermediate, a junior developer will possibly run away from bug fixes, right? So that is one way. So if you tell me that you're a senior developer, I don't care about the job title, I care about what you do on the job. That is how I will know the level that you are. All right, so you can be a team lead in title, but in real sense, you're an intern as a developer. So what you do is that you create a bug report. When you find a bug, you assign it to the person, you keep it under development. Second thing is you make sure that when they ask you for updates, you let them know that this issue is still pending And if it's not fixed, you cannot give any update because that is what you need to test to be able to give an update. Meaning that, it's a chain. This simply means that when you cannot test this thing and confirm, it means that you cannot close out a task, a project. And if you cannot close out a project, it means that you cannot guarantee it to go live. And if you cannot guarantee it to go live, it means that the business is not progressing. It means that the business team and the product team are going to be on you guys' head together. So you just be ready, chill, and just relax and watch it play out. But the truth is that you log the report, discuss about it with the developer. When the developer say they are busy, let them know the priority and the criticality or the severity of that particular issues. You don't have to fight, you don't have to sound rude, you don't have to talk disrespectfully, you just have to escalate it and let them understand the reason why it has to be fixed. However, if it is not fixed, you have the power to say, we are not going, or you cannot, just tell them that you cannot give your own guarantee, but they can go ahead to go live, right? You cannot tell them not to go live, so they are free to go live. But they should know that, yes, this issue exists, you have actually escalated the issue to them, or you cannot ask them to go live. So when the issue happens on production, they cannot cut your head for it because there is a ticket that switches to fixing of the issue. I hope I answered your question, Victoria. So any other question? Anybody? Bamilele joined back, or answer your question when you were off, so you can just listen to this part of the recorded session again, and you'll be able to catch up on the answer again. So in the absence of no questions, I think we should just call it a day. Tomorrow is the finale.
Bamidele,
You said?
Bamidele, he has asked a couple of questions in the chat. Can just
oh, really?
Yeah.
I only saw one. Why is it?
Maybe. So is that it came? Okay, maybe I hasn't refreshed. So his question was in 4 parts. Basically, the first one was
explain it now. Okay, so before I go to her, Ellen said, honestly, guys, I'm a bit lost. I don't even know what software testing is all about. Okay. So Ellen, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. And I feel like this is the first time you are hearing it. So just to give you an overview, it's something you need to learn. It's something you know much about. It's something you need to study, right? So, and I know you have, you can actually unmute yourself if your environment is not noisy. But I know you have heard about software engineering before. I wanted to ask you if you have heard about it before and what do you know about it? That will help me to know where to come in. Are you on the call, Helen? You are muted.
Hello?
Hello, good evening, Helen.
Can you hear me? Good evening. Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard about software engineering before, but basically, okay, let me just tell you what I do. I studied microbiology in school, and currently I'm into marketing and sales for a company in Niger. So when it comes to anything software engineering or other programming, coding, honestly, I always get lost because it's not my field at all. Even though some of the terms mentioned here, like I've heard it at some point, maybe during some of the marketing training and all, but I still can't grasp like anything. I think you guys are just talking foreign language because it's not actually my field, honestly. So that was like I have to comment like I'm a bit.
Okay, that's right. That means the loss that you lost is a righteous loss. Then it's fine. So I will just drop my number in the chat section. You can just chat me up on WhatsApp because of the meeting. So I don't. Yeah, then we can talk further about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm just seeing Bamidele's question. Apologies, I missed that. So back to you, Bamidele. How do you pick your support group? Okay, for Kwame, how do you pick your support group? So how would you compare the software tech space versus the Niger tech space? Are you trying to ask between Ghana tech space and Niger tech space? I don't know if that's what you wanted to ask. 3, share your LinkedIn page. Okay. 4, how would you define your tech journey so far? Is it sailing or sleepless nights? I think everybody's a sleepless nights. I don't think anyone has this. I don't know. Maybe you guys had, but I did not have an easy sailing. It has always been a sleepless night. But I mean, Kwame, you can answer the question.
Yeah. So about picking my support group, I basically pick people who I am in communities with, and they are very active. So once they're active, I reach out to them, and we come up with a connection. We establish a connection. If the connection is there, and I see that okay, they can help me move forward, yes, I add them to my support group. So basically, the person has to be active and also has to be seeking attention, just like I'm seeking attention. If our energies don't match, there's a possibility the person might drag me back. You get it? So my support group, we are always pushing each other. So that's what you have to look out most for. Who would push you more? Who would push you more?
All right. So number 2 says, how would you compare the Ghana tech space and Niger tech space?
I don't have much insight into the Nigerian tech space, but from what I've read so far, I think it's booming more than the Ghana tech space, because there are so many so many unicorn companies, like companies valued at more than $1 billion in Nigeria as of now than they are in Ghana. So I'll say the Nigerian tech space is quite large, and then they've exported more people working in those big companies like Google and Facebook more than Ghanaians. Yeah, so I'll say the Nigerian tech space is far ahead, but we hope to catch up one day.
It's a dream. Don't worry. So number 3, I think I already shared the link to number 3. And number 4, you said, how would you define your tech journey so far? Sleepless nights or easy sailing?
Yes, there have been sleepless nights, but there have been more occasions where I felt stuck. Like I couldn't move forward. I was experimenting with a lot of things. And this is where most of us sometimes we find ourselves. Like we experiment with trying to learn JavaScript, maybe learn Python, but you're not able to finish any one of them. So you feel stuck at a point in time. So it's more about that feeling, being stuck, and then trying to figure out the way of getting out of that rut.
Very true, very true. So I think I totally read your mind where you're responding, because the truth is that as you keep moving, if you're not careful about the path you want to follow, particularly for the new tech that we currently have now, that they now draw a career map. If you don't have a career map that you're following, you just see that you are all over, right? And you're not king on something. Yes, it's good for you to be all over. It's good for you to have a bit of idea in everything, but you should be a king in something, and it doesn't have to be manual testing. And that's what I'm always saying, is that if you want to dive into the automation world, take your time. I know, of course, in test program, we just sort of give you an intro, right? Just introduction, just to know that these things exist, know that this thing works, but not like an hands-on full end-to-end automation. Though a course that has end-to-end automation will be released next year, where you get to learn a particular programming language, either Java or Python, and then you now use that programming language to now learn how to do web automation and mobile automation. So yeah, you can watch out for that next step. But however, if you want to dive into automation, the first step is for you to learn a particular programming language, eat it, digest it, even while you're on the job. You don't need to quit your job before you learn something, right? One of the things I do is that I know it's hard, but once it's 6 o'clock, I shut down everything that has to do with office, and I use that for my own personal development. And even in the morning, even when I wake up early, I do everything I can not to even open the office Slack until my resumption time. So those times that I'm free, I use it also for my own personal development. My 1 hour break during the day, I use it for my personal development. So you have to be very intentional about it. That's how you're able to carve out 5 hours to yourself in a day, intentionally for yourself, for your own personal development. Because the truth is that while you're on the job, I don't expect you to have an interview for a job tomorrow, and then you now start reading today. No. While you're on a particular job, you are building, you are preparing yourself for another interview every blessed day while you're on the job. And it is what you know that you talk about, not what you read. So focus on learning a particular programming language, then commence your automation journey, either from web or from mobile or from anyone that suits you well. Just start from it. And then from there, you can now keep growing, keep moving, then learn, divert it into using it with DevOps. There's so many connections to automation world entirely. So that's just my comment. So it's exactly 8 o'clock, it's exactly 1 hour, right? That we started this session today. And it has been an amazing 1 hour session for me, listening to you guys, listening to comments. And of course, my DM is always open if you have any question. I mean, I'm always saying if you have any interesting topic for us to talk about. And like he said, right, I mean, I have my own support group as well, but they are ever energetic, right? Those are the kind of people I have in my own private support group. Their ginger is more than me. I don't want somebody that I'll be dragging. I want somebody that I'll be trying to catch up with. Okay, so we all have that support group. And I'll be available to be in your support group as long as you are active in your own group as well. I don't want to come to your group and I'm the only talkative then. So again, we have a community. We have like over 100 people in our group. We have like 100 or 300 or 400 on LinkedIn and all. But you can also have your own personal. Have your own caucus. I'm not saying because you finish in the same cohort means that they should be in your caucus. No, I mean that you have to be very intentional to show that yes, this person, the ginger is there. This person can, can hold me on. Okay, and that's the way it should always be. So build your support group, very important. You cannot work alone, you cannot learn alone, you cannot grow alone. Very important. Even me, I'm still trying as much as possible every day. In fact, I pay to connect with people that I need to pay to connect with, very intentionally. You just have to be intentional about your attention seeking. Get them. So that'll be all for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. In the absence of any further question, have a great day. Bye-bye. Peace. He said, I'll be some of the testers so motivated. Thank you. You're welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.